Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished Bournemouth nil, Chelsea nil. I mean, really, it was a tough watch. I mean, if you're a neutral, it was exciting in the kind of car crash way where what's good, or where you're watching a car crash unfold and you know it's all gonna go wrong, but you know that's a comedy and you're just watching it for laughs. I think it's interesting and entertaining in that way. But if you're watching it from a football quality point of view, if you're watching it as a Chelsea fan or as a Bournemouth fan, I don't think you can take a lot of positives from that game. I'm struggling to think of too many, because it was just so. I mean, the passing was really bad, the finishing was really bad, the composure in the attacking areas was really bad. And this is from both teams, by the way, not from one team. It was both teams. It felt like a championship game, or maybe. And I hate to say this, it felt like two mid-table teams scrapping it out for a point or for 3 points. That is what it felt like, and that is not what Chelsea fans will want to hear. I'm sure that is not what Premier League fans might want to hear about Chelsea, but that is the reality. That is what it was. And there's issues. There's issues on both sides. I think we'll start with Bournemouth, because obviously the show will be more focused on Chelsea. But I want to start with Bournemouth. I mean, some of the positions that Bournemouth took in this game was so good. They were so wonderfully well. They had opportunities to counter attack. They defended quite well. Of course, at times it was scrappy and it was desperate, but at times their defending was very good and they got into good positions from where they could counter. But every time they tried to counter, there was one wrong pass. They would always play the wrong pass. So they lose the ball trying to cut infield. There was a couple of chances. I mean, Dominic Solanke had a very good chance the second half, and it just kind of misses it. He just as an air shot, which he probably should have converted. There was a free kick that they had, so which they probably could have made more out of. Towards the end, there was a counter as well, where I think it was Lewis Cook who had the ball. He could have crossed it. It was such an aimless cross that he was trying to put into the area, and it didn't even reach David Brooks. And I think that kind of summed Bournemouth up, because this game was there for them to win. This game was there for the taking. If they'd shown a little bit more guile, a little bit more composure, they could have won this game. And I think that is something that will probably disappoint Iraola a lot, because yes, it's Chelsea. It's at home. Sometimes you don't always expect to get 3 points from these kind of fixtures. But I think right now, I think Chelsea are a team that you can get 3 points against if you play just a little bit better than you normally would. I just don't think there was a lot of enterprise. There was a lot of graft. But in the moments where you needed craft, where you needed a little bit more quality, it just wasn't there. And that's a sad part. From Chelsea's point of view, I mean, where do you begin? I mean, if there is a positive, though, and I said there's no positive, I think there's one positive that Chelsea can take, and it's Enzo Fernandez. I thought he was excellent in that midfield. He was brilliant. He was man of the match. Smash like if Enzo Fernandez was your man of the match, he was my man of the match. Absolutely controlled that game, and maybe part of it was because everybody else around him, whether it was Bournemouth or whether it was Chelsea, they were all, misplacing passes. They were all looking a little bit desperate, a little bit panicky. But he was just calm and composed. He knew exactly how he wanted to pass. His passing angles were good. The way that he controlled that game for Chelsea was really good. It's just a shame that he doesn't have players around him who can play off of him, who can actually maximize what he brings to the table. It's almost like sometimes he's a man among boys. At times it feels like he's very young though, but it just feels like that at times, the way that he plays and the way that Chelsea play around him. But aside from that, I'm struggling to think of how what way of what Chelsea did well. There's so many chances. Yes, I think Chelsea created a lot of good openings where they could have made more of. I mean, there was a scrap in the second half, but I don't know how the ball didn't go in. There was that chance that Cole Palmer, he chooses to pass to Sterling, but he should actually go for goal. I think it's just lack of confidence. It's lack of that confidence, lack of leadership, people not wanting to take responsibility. He passes it to Sterling. It still comes back to him, but by that point, it's very difficult because he's got to twist his body and get the angle right, and he can't do it. And Raya makes a good save, but really, he should have taken that shot first time on. There was a chance for Jackson. He misses as well. I think Jackson had a very good, promising start to his Chelsea career, but he looks just like all other Chelsea strikers who have a lot of enterprise and who work hard, but ultimately they just can't put the ball in the net when it matters, and that is not good for Chelsea, because they would have wanted Jackson to be better. They probably hope that Nkunku comes back soon and that he will become the player that they hope that he would, but it's going to take him some time to recover from injury, not just physically but also match fitness. It will take him some time, but yeah, Jackson just looks a little bit out of sorts at the moment. Like, you know what would this I don't know what the Chelsea curse is with strikers. They never seem to get strikers who can score goals for them. I have no idea why that happens, but it happens. But there were chances. Chelsea created chances. They just couldn't take them, and that is a big problem. That's the story of the season so far. To be honest, they've always been creating chances. They just can't finish them off for the life of them. And it must be exasperating. I'm not a Chelsea fan, and it's exasperating to watch. I'm sure it must be for you as well. And then there's a few problem areas as well to address. I mean, the one thing is that neither Caicedo nor Lavia played this game. Now, I think maybe Caicedo was just coming back from international duty, and maybe Pochettino didn't want to risk him. Maybe I had a knock or something. I'm not sure. The commentators didn't say what happened, but maybe somebody can shed light in the comments. But that's not good that neither Caicedo nor Lavia, two of the players they signed for almost £200 million, neither of them started this game. That's not good. Obviously, and Enzo did start, and I think when they have Enzo, Caicedo, and Live, that will give that midfield more solidity. And when they have a solid midfield, I'm not saying they'll start scoring goals for fun, but at least they'll be able to control games better, and maybe that might eventually give them more chances where one or two of them could go in a game. Because right now, what's happening is that even though today they were creating a lot of chances, they were also giving a lot of chances up. So there's always that in the back of your mind where there's that fear. If you're a midfielder, if you're a defender, where you don't want to commit too hard into attack because you're always worried about being caught out in defense. So maybe when they have more control, they can do better. But still, it's not a good look that neither of their two players that they bought for so much money can start. Sterling for me seems like a problem. I think he was not. It's hard for me to say because Sterling today he was okay in patches, but then he was also very. It's quite clear that there's something wrong with him in the sense that there was a moment in the first half where I think it was Jackson. Sterling had a clear line of pass to Jackson. He could have played the pass to Jackson, and what he did instead is he ran with it a little bit towards the wide area. He didn't pass it to Jackson. He tried to run wide. And I'm thinking, why are you trying to be so selfish? It's almost like Marcus Rashford a little bit. Why are you trying to be selfish when you've got that opening that you can take advantage of? Why not try it? Yes, you might not make that pass. Maybe Jackson will fluff his lines, whatever. But still make that pass. Try to be a little bit more creative, more adventurous instead of doing the same things over and over again. And then in the second half, there was another moment where I think a cross came in. I think it was Gusto put a cross in, and Sterling is caught offside. He's right on the other side of the lines of the field, so you can see exactly where the line is, and he still gets caught out offside. And it's just a little bit. I think he's a little bit frustrated with himself, and maybe he's frustrated with his teammates. I don't know what it is, but he doesn't look like the player that he used to be once upon a time. He was always a very erratic finisher anyway, but at least he had a bit of dynamism to him before. Now I don't think he has that. And apparently he has a pact with Pochettino to help him get back into the England squad. Mate, if you keep playing like that, you shouldn't even be in the Chelsea starting 11. Let me be honest with that. You shouldn't even be in the Chelsea starting 11. Forget the England squad. That being said, apparently as Southgate has said, you don't need to be in Premier League starting 11s. You can be a bench player and still make it to the starting 11. So maybe there's something else there, but nonetheless, I kid, I jest. But nonetheless, I don't think it was that good. Mudryk again, same thing. Showed couple of flashes of brilliance. He doesn't seem like he's being able to put it all together. Disasi for me looked like a bit of a disaster at times in defense. I know they didn't get caught out much to their credit, but you would expect better from defenders of that caliber, especially the yellow card that he took was just so was poor defending. Colwill looks like a fish out of water at left back. He shouldn't be playing left back. I know it's an emergency situation, but he shouldn't be playing there at this moment in time. But it is what it is. There's not a lot to talk about. There's really not a lot to talk about this game because Chelsea just looks so painfully average. I think that's the best way to sum it up. It was two average teams that were duking it out. One hoping that somehow they could get lucky and get a goal. And believe me, one of them had scored a goal that would have been enough to win the game. It wouldn't have finished any other score other than 1-0. It was never going to be 1-1, 2-1. No, it was going to be 1-0 because that really is what it was. It was two teams who had no idea how to score a goal, both hoping that someone somewhere somehow would nick a goal or a penalty or something to score. It's just tough. It was tough to watch. It's very tough to watch, but nonetheless, much like Enzo Fernandez, though. As I said, man of the match, really played well. Hopefully, Chelsea can try and build a team around him, give him some players that he can actually work, that he can actually do something with. Because at the moment, he is like fighting a lone battle out there. So that's the good news, of course, for Chelsea is that they also don't have to play in Europe now this week, so they'll have a week off, week rest. They can kind of do a little bit more training, a little more work. Maybe they'll be better in the next game. I don't know. But let's see what happens there. Do share your thoughts on the game. Put in the comments. Maybe you disagree with something that I said. Maybe you disagree with something that I said. I mean, the reality is that it's all about opinions. And maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe I am being too harsh. So let me know in the comments. I don't think Chelsea will get relegated. I know some people are talking about relegation. Chelsea are not going to get relegated. They only need to be better than Everton or Wolverhampton Wanderers to avoid relegation because Luton and Sheffield look doomed at this moment in time. So really, you only need to be better than Everton or Wolves. One or both of them. You just need to be better than one or both of them, and I think Chelsea definitely are. On evidence, they probably are better than Bournemouth as well. So I don't think Chelsea will get relegated. I don't think I don't think they will make the Champions League spots. They might be in contention for the Conference League spots at this moment in time, but no, they won't be. They won't be relegated. That's for sure. Anyway, share your thoughts. Do subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We always appreciate your support. Of course, we're getting very close to 410 subscribers. We're only 2 subscribers away from 410 subscribers. So please do subscribe to our channel. Appreciate your support. I'm going to now go and switch over to watch the Arsenal game, and we'll be back with the review for that one. So do subscribe so you can get notified as soon as that drops. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.